network to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
It's one of the good guys in the game. One of the talented guys in the game. It's Ebro in the Morning, Laura Stiles. Give it up for Black on the program. Black is here, back outside.
Yeah, back outside.
Back outside So now here's the thing about Black. He creates for a lot of people and gives the world, artists, and us as fans a lot of great music. You may or may not see his name. However, periodically he decides, you know what? I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be an artist too.
Yeah.
And this is one of those times. How is that process going for you? Giving so much of yourself to help music in general, right? But then also holding something back for yourself to be an artist.
It's been really testing. I think that in the last 5 years, obviously like the pandemic, everybody went through something. For me, it was like reaching a part where I finally was able to acknowledge that I was burnt out, and not just for music, but just like personal conversations and things I never like sorted out, family stuff. And I just had to really switch my focus back to home and back to like, I want to feel good. I want to like make sure I'm like being a good example for my daughter. I want to make sure that I have something good to say the next time that I do drop music. So let me do that first, and then we can work on, you know, getting back in motion and things after.
Now, obviously that sort of flexibility and control comes with a level of success because you are you.
Doing well.
But I'm assuming also because we've seen it with other artists where that success is so addicting, right? Yeah. So I think like I'm listening to you and it's like not a lot of people can pinpoint or stop and say, I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that point where you were like, I need to take a break. I need to stop and I need to like refocus?
I think I felt it a little bit towards the end of my last tour cycle because I did East Atlanta Love Letter tour, but around that time I did Chris Brown tour. I did like the Weekends tour before that. I did festival season. I did Europe, Australia. Like I was running. And I remember moments where people were checking on me, like managers and everybody like, you good? Everything straight? You want to keep going? And I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Let's run it. If it's a bag, let's get it. If it's a show, let's do it. And I did that. Through that, my voice started to like mess up a little bit. I had to go to a doctor. He was telling me, you know, as far as my diet goes and my routine goes, he was like, if you want to continue to sing, then you need to like have some better management about what you're doing to your body, what you're putting yourself through, because otherwise you'll be maxed out and that'll be
those
it.
muscles ain't not gonna hold up.
So after that, I still was a little bit in denial about it, and I think that I just shifted back to making music and pouring all of my energy into that. And it took me maybe 4 years ago when I'm in a session and I was just pulling up and just putting my head down on the desk and like 6 hours going by just because I just couldn't get anything else out of my body anymore. Or I would start a song the way I feel like I would have started it 2 years before, and I would be like, that's not telling the truth, or that's not like true to where you want to be. So that, and then having somebody next to you who can look at you and say, you look like you got everything together, to your friends and to everyone else, but to me, you look a mess.
I see you.
So.
Well, that leads us to this project that drops March 24th, Since I Have a Lover, which you can pre-add right now on Apple Music. Since I Have a Lover is one of the first records you dropped. That and Talk Back, I think, the first two. And I love that because this, I mean, from what I'm reading from the track listing here, it is the journey of being in love and being with someone.
Absolutely.
Tell me more about, I guess, you know, without specifically going into your private life if you want to, but just why you approach this project this way.
I think each album has been like a representation of where I've been. So like Free Black was somebody like coming out of turmoil and coming out of heartbreak and coming out of a bad deal, and that being like the driving force behind that story. And then East Atlanta Love Letter kind of opening my heart and my brain to like different ideas, and maybe I can like get into a relationship now. Maybe I can like start to switch my focus on like who I think I am versus who I can be. And this album, Since I Have a Lover, really was just me acknowledging that it's my everyday practice to like just to be better. So even if I'm not there, I know what it takes now. I'm way more aware than I was in 2016. I'm way more aware than I was in 2018. And I'm aware that it's not always going to be perfect. Like some days are going to feel like super high. Some days might feel super low. Some days I might handle a conversation with grace and patience. Another day I might be on edge because of something else. But it really just took me being aware of it, aware of my own like emotions, aware of my own feelings, my own insecurities, own doubts, and like going back, doing that work, figuring out the source of like things that didn't make me feel good. And then once you figure out the source, it's like, okay, now that I know why, I know better. So
Laura ran into Black in the lobby of the hotel in Ghana.
Oh.
Yeah, and we chopped it up. I was happy to see him. You know me, I'm in Ghana, and I'm always looking around like, yo, which of the young brothers and sisters is coming out here to feel this?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Right, because we're living in an important time that we've been able to reconnect and begin to build bridges and travel and you know, one of my personal joys right now is that, you know, Ghana and Africa in general has become, and you're younger than me, but there's a time, you know, I'm an old head, so there's a time to be like, man, I ain't going to Africa, like, because the people, Black Americans' perception of Africa was like, A, it was farther than it actually was, or it was more expensive, or it was more treacherous than it actually is. But you're going to go down here and deal with cartels cutting people's heads off and hang out in Tulum and dealing with drug dealers and all that, but you won't go over that.
All people knew was infomercials at the time. Do you remember? That's
exactly,
it.
Yeah.
So, but I see you in the hotel in Ghana. We get to chop it up for a second, but at the time I could tell you were processing the beauty and the love and the whole thing, and you just was like, man, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Was that your first time there?
That was my first time in Ghana for sure. Yeah, and honestly, anytime I go over to that side, it's like the love is what I feel at home, but like times 100. And it's because of that simple fact that people don't normally go over there that much, and they are like starting to get the infrastructure that they need behind artists and behind festivals, and their music scene is killing right now. So, you know, to be over there, and I shot a video with Rima when I was over there.
Dope.
And to just like be immersed in something that I was a fan of like for the past couple of years before I touched down out there, it was just reassurance that like music travels and it means something to like people outside of where you come from, and you have a responsibility to continue to like source this and do this.
Do you have plans of going back?
Absolutely. We want to do a run out there. Obviously Lagos, Ghana again, Cape Town always, Joburg. And then we're working on some other projects that are more like community based. A few years ago, I did like a water well project in Uganda where we just build a well for communities that don't have fresh water. So we want to do another one of those this year. We just have to figure out where.
I love that.
Black, man. This guy, like I told y'all, he's one of the good ones. I want to get into the album. I want to play that Since I Have a Lover. Talk about the writing on this record so people can follow along as they soak it in.
Since I Have a Lover, the single, I think is just me capturing how I feel on my best day. And sometimes it felt more like alty or poppy or acoustic driven than like some of my other things. And it was me just acknowledging that if I feel this way, I can make a song this way, and then I can get back in whatever other bag I need to. So Since I Have a Lover is an ode to my lover, and Since I Have a Lover is a feeling.
Are you still spitting bars on the low out here? Because, you know.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, Talk Back, the other song
Talk
that we
Back
dropped,
got,
it got bars in there. We just shot a video for another one, Preach, and that's another one in there. But yeah, we just have
so
fun
on this Since I Have a Lover,
Mm-hmm.
let me see. I'm seeing 19 records.
Mm-hmm.
How much you get into some bars?
Let's see.
How much? Like, what's the?
I feel like it's pretty evenly balanced. The project, for the most part, has a lot of acoustic driven like elements to it. But Preach, Talk Back, Talk, and Inwood Hill Park, it's like at least 5 on there.
Do you ever see yourself as an artist? I mean, I've heard records where you ain't doing nothing but rapping, or records where you're doing nothing but singing. But I don't think a project exists where you've
just do one,
decoupled the talents.
I want to, for sure. I want to, for sure. I think it's been calling for a long time from both sides. Some people just want like a straight R&B album. Some people just want a rap album. So, you know, whenever it feels necessary. Yeah.
Is there okay, so let's just talk raps. Is there would you produce it all? Is there a producer that you would be like, oh, if I did a straight hip hop album, I want this person to oversee it?
Off the top of my head, nobody that I can like. I would love to get in with No ID. Always, he's a great person. Love to see him, love to work with him. So No ID is obviously a great number one choice.
And one of the GOATs.
One of the GOATs, of course. Hit Boy's been doing his thing lately with everybody and always. But Hit Boy is another good option.
Now, what about on the R&B side?
On the R&B side. R&B is a little different for me.
Right.
Because for me, when I make R&B music, it's always like to myself. And I know how R&B was traditionally like produced and made. So every now and then I pop in and have sessions with people. Like I had some sessions with Sean Garrett, really amazing sessions. But my process is so like personal to me that it's hard to communicate to somebody else like how we can articulate this together. So I'm still figuring that out. Like it's something that I'm
collaborating on the R&B side.
Yeah, still to this day. So look, just because of how I work. So
right,
I'm figuring it out though.
It is. Now I guess the last question I think we should cover is the whole SixLACK Jokes and all that. Does it bother you?
I feel like when I see it in the rotation, that just means that we back in the cycle of moving again. So it's just, I just seen the same tweets like 5 million times, and I just be like, I wonder if these are copy and pasted at this point, if these are bots or if everybody.
But like, at the end of the day, you know it's love and acknowledgement.
And honestly, like it makes for great merch. Like it makes for good conversation. When you think about it logically, if my name was spelled BLACK, you wouldn't be able to find me anywhere. Right. So
very true.
Yeah, it works for me.
And you're the type of artist. You're one of those artists, you know, personally that I love because it's a if you know type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you're very you make timeless music and you're very important in our black music scene.
Thank you.
Especially with the young generation. And so you're one of those artists that like, you know, the name is like you gotta know what's really going on with this cat. You gotta tap in. And when you tap in, it's gonna take you on a journey musically, which I think
absolutely.
You know, so you gotta the discovery part is I think what a lot of people love about you too is like you're not oversaturated, you're not just making shit to be commercial. And we appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
For sure.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Man. Give it up, Black, one time. That new project, March 24th. Go get it. Since I Have a Lover. And also go check out some of the catalog. Free Black, East Atlanta Love Letters, all that, man.